Happy Friday, everybody. This is KM9G, and welcome to the show. It's Independence Day weekend in of A, if you are in the U.S., also as if you're not in the U.S. So happy holiday weekend if you're celebrating that kind of thing. I took my Freedom Cycle out for a ride today and enjoyed the beautiful weather. It looks like Adam's still outside enjoying the beautiful weather. How is everybody? Josh, say hi.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm doing well, getting ready for a fun weekend.
This will indeed be an awesome weekend. Chuck, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Getting ready for the weekend, too. Every day's a weekend for me, though.
Happy blow things up weekend, says Mike. Fantastic. We'll go straight down. Kyle, your turn. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing pretty good. Kyle's microphone's a little low, but he's going to play with that, and then all of a sudden he's going to come out and blow all of our eardrums out. So headphone warning for Kyle.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
I mean, we can hear you, but you're definitely quieter than everybody else.
Is it powered?
Well, look, it's not even plugged in.
I don't know what's going on. You're going to have to deal with it.
Charlie, how's it going?
Hey, doing good. Thanks for having me on tonight.
Yeah, definitely. It's a pleasure to have you here. Adam says his internet's going to maybe not keep up, so we'll get Adam right in right away, and then we'll keep on talking.
I can hear the goals.
All right, well, we will see here. It's stuttering pretty good, but how's everybody doing tonight? Good to see you on here.
Yeah, we're doing great. Not as good as you are, though. I mean, just that view alone. Your sunglasses are more blue than the sky is. Is it overcast, or is that just a camera trick?
It's overcast. It's pretty cloudy down here on the coast, and pretty darn nice weather, I should say.
Does it get cloudy down there a lot? I hear it doesn't do that in California.
Well, the beach
No, it does you get the marine layer coming in, it cools it down.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. So tonight we are talking about the QCX Mini, and if you've been following along on my channel, I built this thing out, and I actually didn't light the house on fire when I did it, so I was pretty impressed with that. My thoughts on this kit are that it's Hans, right?
Hans.
Yeah. So I'm in the Midwest. There's a lot of Hansons here, and there's so many Hansons that there's even one named Hans, and you run into them all the time. So Hans is the local dialect for that. But Hans did a fantastic job on this. It's not a difficult build, but there are some parts of it that are puzzling. Like jigsaw puzzle type puzzle, not like, why did he do that? Like, everything makes sense, and he does an amazing job on the instructions. I was really impressed with the instructions. What did you guys think?
I thought the instructions were good. There were no instances where some kits will do this, where they'll get you started on a step, and then you'll read like two sentences, and then it'll say, "Oh, but before you do that, make sure you do this." And there was none of that. Those were always the pitfalls for other kits. So it's a pretty good install from a manual standpoint. Lots of pictures. Pictures help in this case, particularly for the windings.
So that first toroid that everybody talks about, the what's it called? The
T1 transformer.
The T1 with the 4 windings on it. What was it, like 13 pages on that? I mean, it was a lot, or 13 steps.
It was a lot of steps, and I don't know I would have done it the way he did it, but I thought it was good. At the end of the day, it was okay, because it made it difficult to take the enamel off.
Toroid.
I noticed when I was messing with it, because they did that twisty bit, right, where you make the twisty bit, and then you untwist it and snip it. And I ended up having to de-enamel it with the soldering iron after I pushed the wires through the hole.
So I actually, talking about the enamel wire part of it, he showed me a trick on that, and I thought that was pretty good. We got a super chat from Ham Radio Dude. Thank you, Ham Radio Dude. 10 parts, $10. This is part 10 in the series. If you haven't seen the series, I broke it down into manageable, digestible chunks instead of 1 4-hour long build stream. But back to what I was saying, Hans taught me something with the enamel wire. He said, put it on, hold the soldering iron on it, count to 10, and you can literally see the enamel bubble away. And before that, I'm like scraping it with a pocket knife or hitting it with sandpaper. This was like, wow, this is great. Patience.
I'm pretty sure it's because of the wire he uses, though. Yeah, most kits, the enamel wire is not nearly as good as what he used in this, which was nice. That was a handy thing.
So, Adam, did you run into any gotchas when you were building yours?
I didn't. The one thing that I noticed about it is that he really did an incredible job of the mechanical engineering of the kit and making everything fit together, but in some cases just barely. So you definitely have to be cautious with the instructions so that things actually do fit together properly, and read through a page before you start on something. And it'll really help to digest that a little bit and then understand why you're doing things so you can make sure you do it right.
How many pages were there total?
There's a lot.
So
Yeah.
I can
Dave
look.
Kassler printed it out and put it like he went to he went to Office Depot and printed it out in a binder, and I could have swore that he said it was like
121 pages. Just
yeah,
pulled
it was
it
like
up.
100. I was going to say 130.
Oof.
Wow. You know what I've used for enamel? You get these cheap little kind of like diamond files. You can get them for like in the little things, and that's the best thing I found so far. And especially you don't end up cutting yourself. Trying to you always work the knife towards you, right?
Exactly.
That's right.
So
I do
I've
it on
always
camera just in case.
used one of those Bic lighter things to burn off.
Yeah.
Is that what you guys do too? Because I've never done anything other than that. So
I do that when I can get free access to the toroid. For that transformer with the 4 sets of windings, it made it a little harder. So using the good wire, you just use the soldering iron and the solder kind of I added extra solder and then I just pulled extra off, and that seemed to do fine.
Yeah, so here's the manual itself, and he's got it broken down, and I'm clicking on this. I'm clicking on the stream, wondering why my page isn't changing. Parts list, introduction, assembly. Yeah, so from page 23 to page 30 is the main toroid that he's got you working on. Wow. And I do like that he had the most difficult thing to do first. Get it done, get it out of the way, and move on. And let me see if I can find.
Should have a picture of that, right?
I do. It's coming up. Got to get down past the inventory.
Something to see things with.
Oh, the solder legs. I thought this was a fantastic trick that he used. There's a couple of spots throughout the kit where he does like take some of your old solder legs and make wire headers all by yourself. And I'm like, oh wow.
Yeah. Don't throw any of those snippings away. I know it's if you read the manual it says that, but don't throw any away because he uses it for the screen. One of the pots, the volume pot. There's a couple other places he uses it too. If you got the TCXO option, you have to use 3 for that. Yep. There's a couple of different places that you need those cuttings.
So QRP Life's asking if the SMDs are pre-installed, and yes, they are pre-installed. So that was a big help. But don't be afraid of SMD soldering. These are actually a little small. Maybe be afraid of these ones with a hand soldering iron. But in general, don't be afraid of SMDs. You can do it with a regular soldering iron, and it's not terrible. I wouldn't do like 300 of them, but and then
I've watched Adam do them. They're not that hard.
Derek's asking, what bands did y'all pick for your QCXs? And what I did was I picked 20. I like to operate 20 portable because the antennas are, manageable sizes.
Yeah, 20 also.
So I built a 17, and then I'm trading a friend a meter one that he built because I had modified one of my mountain toppers to run on 17 meters. So
Adam said he got a 17 and traded for a 30.
Yeah.
Now I've actually I could zoom out a little bit here. I've done a pretty fair number of kits, and I got to say that the QCX Mini probably fits in between the Hilltopper 20 from 4 States QRP. That's a harder kit, a lot more solder than the QCX Mini. The QCX Mini, because it uses so much SMBs to be able to get that small, that's why that form factor is so tiny, because they're using a lot of tiny surface mounts. So it's on the, I'd say, more complex end of kit building, but not that bad.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Yeah. I wouldn't do it as your very first kit. No. I would do something like one of those little Christmas tree lights or something that you can get off of Amazon for $5.
Do a cricket.
Yeah, crickets are pretty good.
Yeah, do a cricket.
But definitely don't be afraid of it. It wasn't hard. I mean, realistically, I think the hardest thing really was winding the toroids and then the jigsaw puzzle assembly. But it wasn't hard to wind the toroids. It was just tedious.
Yeah, so you're glad that
Yes.
were you guys glad that you chose the bands you did, or would you have chose something different then?
I would have had to make more windings on that transformer if I went with 30, 40, or 80.
So he's actually got a 160 meter version of this kit, I believe.
My goodness.
And so this is the 20 right here. This is what the 20 toroid looks like. So obviously 40's double that number of windings. And then, just keep going up from there.
Somebody asked what's a cricket. I'll show you really quickly. Cricket's the little orange one with the embedded key. It's very inexpensive and no toroids. Those circles, that's the actual toroid baked into the PCB, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I originally got a 20 meter. Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, I was just
Uh-oh.
have another QRP and you have to build one. A 40 meter is probably the most versatile, and then after that, probably 20 meters.
For you night owls.
Yeah, 20 meters is good midday and also like midnight. It's really weird how it opens back up again.
Yeah. I had most of my POTAs and sodas. I've had more luck on 20 than anything else in California.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Adam, how long did it take you to build yours?
We built it in a day. I would say maybe 4 or 5 hours.
4 or 5 hours. Okay.
Same for me.
Yeah, it was where I was. I was about 4 or 5 hours, and that was with filming it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, good point. I was shooting film and trying to do some narrative over it. So you could probably, I mean, if you build kits, you could probably do it 3-4 hours without much of a problem. There's actually not that many parts. The more I got into it, I was up front, I was very put off by the transformer, and then the more I got into it, I was like, oh, there's really not that many parts, and the time you spend is like you said, Steve, the parts where you need the make your own pin headers, like the volume pots having the wires flipped up so that they're surface mount instead of like the traditional way of doing it. I was like, oh well, that's ingenious. It's it's got a mad scientist feel in like the best way, like the way he purposely built the kits and the way the PCB is sent to you, that display PCB where you break the pieces off and one of them is a standoff with a hole in it. I was like, oh, it's very ingenious. The way he put the whole kit together is very clever, is the right word. Derek Eels in the chat for sure.
And you run into this when you get to work with somebody who. So there's a couple of different things. People always ask me like, where do I get started in ham radio? And I'm like, boy, that's a loaded question. But I have a friend that just builds Morse code devices and never ever gets on the air. And he just wants to build oscillators and keys and little radios that'll do it, but just never gets on the air. And it almost seems like that's what Hans does, is he just builds these kits and that's his joy in the hobby.
There's a lot of people like that. I think those guys that do the Smoke and Solder podcast, I mean, that's all they're talking about is building transceivers, SSB, QRP transceivers that they're building. Yeah, there it is. That's the way it comes. It's like one of those survival business cards you buy that has like a fishing kit in it, but this is the control board.
And don't lose this piece.
Don't lose that piece.
Or this piece. Or this piece. Yeah.
What is that piece for? The lower right.
The lower right is the interface header that is right about there on your kit. So you stack up a sandwich of stuff, and I don't have mine open, so I can't look at it. But it's the
lower right on the first picture.
The lower. Oh, that's the TCXO, isn't it?
No, that might be the GPS. If there's now, I'm curious because I just realized I got that piece left over.
Parts left over.
Did you use that, Adam?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think it's used for anything. But
yeah, so there's the component cutoffs.
Yeah, that was how he mounts the display to the board. Super cool, super smart.
Yeah, I'm searching for that part you're talking about.
I'm pretty sure I didn't use that.
But this
I think it's like a daughter board for something. I forget what.
It might be the GPS.
I don't know. Yeah.
This kit was so
It's not-
tightly packed in there that he wants you to trim off all of the little standoffs on the trimmers. He wants you to trim the trimmers.
Yep.
It's not the TCXO. If you scroll up when you get a second,
This is what I thought you were talking about.
No, that's the pin header extender.
Expander.
How far up do you want me to go?
Do you know where the TCXO spot is, where you're doing the oscillator for the time source,
Yeah,
or the crystal for the time source?
I'll find it.
It's a cool. It's really interesting because he built it in a way that you could just use a crystal for timekeeping, and then instead use the TCXO if you bought it and it was an add-on. Keep going. It's that XTAL 2.
Yeah, right
there
here.
it is. Yeah, so look at that. The little bit down from there. See how you build the header, the pin header for that, and then it slides over the top. So he built the space around it. Really cool. That was pretty smart.
So
Yeah, he's got this little cutout.
how do you get the spacing for those?
You don't. You just slap it down. He cut the hole so that it goes around the IC.
Yes, you can see the hole right here,
I
and then
see it,
over
yeah.
in this one, in
so it
picture
goes all the
number
way
3, you
down.
can see the IC. It slides all the way down onto the circuit board.
Okay.
Somebody said, read the chat for what that daughter board. Yeah, I think we said daughter board, unless I'm runs a custom firmware. No, it's
Like,
not.
I'm gonna
for
get
single-sideband.
I'm gonna get your attention.
It's not for single sideband.
Yeah, Mike says he thought it was the single sideband, a custom SSD mod for the radio, Derek. And I have heard that you can mod this thing. That's what I wanted to talk about too. Was
Oh
some mods.
man,
You can get this thing
I
to
might be
do
more interested in finishing then.
FT8. You can get it to do sideband. You can get it to do multiple frequencies. There's a lot of modifications for this thing.
that'll be great for running single sideband. So you'll have the power of smell for
Exactly.
making RF contacts.
I don't even know where it would fit.
You didn't buy the amp with it?
I bought the
Oh,
amp.
it's a USDX. Everybody's saying, okay, all right.
Or is that micro SDX?
Oh, micro SDX. Yeah, you're right.
I'm just guessing. And I got my kit after the bug was found with the I can't remember the name of it. The power.
Isn't it?
I got a first run kit, and I'm kind of worried that I have a buggy one.
So there's a voltage regulator mod, and he sent out a repair for it.
Wasn't
And
it a diode or something?
there's instructions in here where you add a capacitor in line,
Capacitor.
and he included the
Yes.
capacitor. He's got the schematics for how everything's built out.
But
So, I
that was
mean,
on the
like,
second mod.
Total transparency. Yeah, so here's the fix. And Josh, the problem is if you like turn the power on and off
Yeah.
repeatedly. So I mean it's like not that big of a deal, but
Mhm.
still he included the extra part in there.
I did install that, so that's good.
So then this is the fix.
How many mod versions are there? Is it just the second?
This fix is revision 2 as far as I know.
Okay.
And I don't know that there's any official revisions after that, but there's a lot of
Mods.
Okay, so Mike's saying there's a 7805, which is Mobeta.
Mm.
So I know Adam said he was on a timeline. Adam, did you have any thoughts before you wanted to head out, or how much more time do you have?
I pretty much got to get going. I got to meet up with the YL for dinner, so I got to roll out. But I would just say that it's I thought it was an awesome kit to build. When I first built the original QCX, I thought this thing's just kind of big, portable use. It's just not that
Of
small,
course,
and
Adam thought it was big.
it was kind of an it was kind of an awkward size or shape too to fit into a normal case. The plastic case that it comes with, I had to build one, and I did, and I'm really happy that it was a fun kit, and it's a strong performing radio. It does really well. So go build one if you haven't.
Yeah. So, Mike, is that that's just a regulator you can throw in there instead? Can you add that to the older kits?
Mhm.
Mike was talking about. You can. Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know which
the
one
fix
I have,
is actually just the fix is adding an electrolytic capacitor, a large electrolytic capacitor across the input there to help control that. So, and it seems to solve the problem. I'm going to roll out, guys. So 7-3 for now.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of the stream. We'll catch you next time.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Adam.
Later, Adam.
All right, Kyle, I haven't heard from you yet.
I think I have maybe solved my mic problem.
Yeah, you sound pretty good.
Yep.
Okay.
Get better.
So I've got a little story on mine. This is the second kit that I have purchased. The first kit I purchased was a 20 meter, and then I got the Mountain Topper 4-band and had 20, 40, 80, and 30, right? So what I did was I was at field day, and I was talking about my Mountain Topper, and member says, "Oh man, that QRP guys or QRP Labs, I'd like to get one of those." I'm like, "I got a half-built one. You want to buy mine?" And he's like, "Sure." So I literally sold it yesterday.
Jeez, wow.
What band did you pick up?
So I picked up 17. So I had to, and so I haven't even started this one. But yeah, so I got $75 out of it, which was great. Half built, and he only had a couple more hours to build that. So yeah, I'm going to start on the 17 meter here. So therefore, it will complete the, I will have a QRP radio for 17, 20, 30, 40, and 80. So that was my goal, and I bought that. Like I said, I bought that 20 meter before I knew that the Mountain Topper was coming out. So I didn't need the 20 meter. So that's my story. So I haven't. I'm gonna wind 2 toroids again, or I'm gonna wound a toroid again. So
Mike says he uses his K2 for most of his POTAs, except for the ones he does on Thursday nights.
right, yeah. I think I'm gonna pick up a K2 at Huntsville.
Oh,
Well, that would be good.
I think my KX3 is just a little too heavy for doing stuff. So I think I'm going to pick up a K2.
KX2.
KX2. Sorry,
No, I was
KX2.
wondering
Okay.
what you're getting there. Yeah.
I was like, oh, he's going vintage. Okay.
I want to go bigger.
No. Sorry, KX2. Yeah.
Yeah, my KX3 is a little heavy. Let me get heavier.
Yeah. Sorry,
Perfect.
KX2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
threw me off there.
It was that, or buy the. I don't know if you guys have noticed and been on the Elecraft's website, but their prices have jacked up, and they have their T1 tuner that you would maybe use with one of these if you used a non-resident antenna, right? So that thing was about $150 a couple of months ago. Now it's $200.
Ooh, wow. Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I mean, I don't mean to be a plush about it, but I mean, I'm like, I'll spend $500 more and just get a whole new radio.
Thinking long term.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, oh, $200 for a tuner, or $800 or $850 for a KX2. All right.
Right.
Do you guys know? Have you had? Is there a 60 meter version out there?
Of the QCX Mini? I don't think so, but it wouldn't be hard to make one. I mean,
That's
I think
probably, I mean, that would be the one I would choose if I were to. I mean, it's been chosen for me, right? I had one sent to me and I've used it. I haven't been through the build process yet, so I'm in the. I mean, I'm right at the beginning where I want to buy one, and I would buy a 60. I think if I were going to.
Oh
buy
yeah,
one.
yeah. You can do 17, 20, 30, 40, 60, and 80.
All right.
Cool.
So that's the one I think I'll build.
And I could have sworn there was a 160. The 60 meter version, the toroid ring is not large enough to neatly hold all those turns in a single flat, tidy winding. The large secondary winding will end up looking messy with overlaps in some places.
I'm looking forward to that.
I could only imagine what a 160 would look like then, because that toroid is small. It's a small toroid.
I might have misspoke about the 160. He doesn't have measurements in there, but I'm sure you could just cram it in there if you could do it.
Or you stack 2 of them and you figure out what. It probably won't fit 2 stacked on top of each other.
Cut a hole in the case, mount the display on the outside.
Yeah.
So Don's asking, isn't the KX3 more than the 705 by the time you add all the accessories to reach parity and capability? So the KX3 plus the PX3 minus the tuner.
I put it in the chat, but I'm just
Plus
going to
the
say
microphone.
this. I'm an Elecraft person, not an Icon person.
Also, no tuner in the 705, so you might have to factor in the AH705 if you absolutely had to have a tuner.
Right.
Yep.
That's the thing. We were talking about this in Discord the other day. Like, there's 3 or 4 really good QRP rigs out, brand new right now, and all of them skews in a different direction. Like the TX500 is all waterproof and rugged and whatnot, and the 705 is all pretty and shiny and Bluetooth and 2 meters. And the what's the other one? Oh, the new Zygu
KX2.
Yeah, the Zygu that's coming out right now, it's kind of vaporware, but if it runs Linux and I can actually put a keyboard and mouse on it and log in over SSH, I'm getting 2 of those.
Or what about that Lab 559 or 558 thing?
The TX500.
That's what you're saying, TX500.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I'm very interested in that Xiegu, but it's something about the Chinese radios is that they cram a lot of features into it, but the software and the integration of the software is always extremely lacking. And that's what worries me. Embedded Linux, I'm on board, but I'm worried that it's a bullet point more than it will be an implementation.
Yeah, I just don't think you'll be able to SSH into it. Or,
would that be so cool though?
Or run X Windows on it. Like, I mean, just look at it. Just tap the contact you want to make in FT8, or compose a WinLink message right on the box. That would be just so awesome.
That's made by a Russian company, right?
The TX500.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
but that's not why they use those connectors.
Why do they use those connectors?
Waterproof ratings.
waterproof.
Ruggedness.
It's military stuff. That's actually military spec stuff.
Or
how was that radio?
aeronautical.
Josh, you've actually played with it.
It's nice. It's a nice radio. I mean, it's one of those radios where you all your connections have to be that aeronautical connector, which is fine. If you want to go down that road, that's fine. But you got to keep in mind that there's nothing internal in the radio. So if you want a tuner, you bring in a tuner. You got to bring a battery. You got to bring all the things. There's no speaker even. So you have to have headphones, or you're running the mic speaker, whatever you want to do, which, it doesn't take anything away from it. You just have to consider that as extra stuff that you've got on the table rattling around.
Yeah. Other radios like that too, right? Like the Mountain Topper.
Mountain Toppers like that.
Or even the QCX Mini.
Yep. It's a radio. It's just a boom. There you go, radio, and then you apply all the things to it.
So this is the thing. I'm going to pull up a picture of this. This is I wish the Discovery had the LAB 599 TX500 Discovery. Like, pick which name you want to use for it. I wish that it had a color screen. I don't know why they didn't do that. TX500 external battery pack.
It is considered the lowest power draw of like any radio on the market. So it's possible that they just looked at the power draw and went, we really don't need color, because they're the waterfall that it has. It's not a waterfall. It's a spectrum display, and it doesn't gain anything by having color, to be honest.
Right.
I looked at it, when I did the review of it, I'm like, it doesn't need color. It really doesn't.
Color screens kind of wash out in the sun too.
This right here makes me want to buy it.
Yeah, that battery pack. So there's a couple of things that they're working on, I believe. There's a tuner that snaps onto the back. There's a battery pack, and then there's also an amplifier, I believe they're working on. Yeah.
I mean, it's a cool looking radio, right?
Very cool. And it's one of those, it's literally 4 pieces of aluminum that are bolted together. So I mean, you can just, if you wanted X5105 level of self-defense with a radio, that's getting closer to that for sure.
I wonder how well it receives, though.
Well, as good as your earphones and the speaker mic that you plug into it, and the speaker mic is not fantastic. It's okay. You're much better off with using earbuds.
No, I mean, if you put it up against like a 705 and a KX3, are you going to be able to get the same?
He wants to know the Sherwood, man.
I heard that they were actually shipping one to Sherwood to review. So I know one of the guys because again, you can't really get it anywhere but from HRO right now in the States. I believe even people in the UK can't even buy it because it's not approved by their version of the FCC. So people are buying it from HRO and shipping it to the UK. I've been told from one of the persons involved with getting them into the States, that they're trying to get one to Sherwood to review it from that point of view.
Yeah.
I just hear they're impossible to get your hands on.
When I went into the Sacramento HRO, I asked the guy, and he's like, "What radio is that?" He didn't even know what it was. The other guy did, but
I actually took the one I had on loan down to the HRO to show the guys there, because they don't really get them.
Right.
It's more like a ship to the mainland and then shipped out to the people that buy them.
No, that guy in Sacramento said they're actually sending them out up there now. But
from there,
that's what he said they were. Yeah,
that might be port of origin from wherever they're manufactured
maybe
in the motherland.
Hey, Charlie, were you using the QCX today for your SOD activation?
Yeah, let me just talk a little bit about that, because so I didn't build the kit yet. Obviously, I said that earlier. A friend of mine in Calgary, Canada, sent me his after he built it to use over the summer, because he's learning Morse code right now, and it's no use to him. So he just sent it off to me and said, "Hey, why don't you take a look at it and play with it?" So I took it up on the hill this morning to play with it. I had been going through some of the menu items and kind of playing with those and seeing what things I could change in the radio a few days before. But yeah, I got up on there, and I also had his. He built an end-fed half-wave, trapped end-fed half-wave he sent me as well. So I put them both up there and got on the air. And of course, I worked you, right, Kyle?
Yep.
Yeah, and I also got 2 stations from Sweden. I actually didn't get 2 of them. 2 came in, and I was able to only work 1 because of my stupidness. I didn't recognize the second station, but I was really impressed. I think it has enough things in the menu to change to make it so that it fits pretty much everybody's needs and desires. For me, the only thing that I kind of complained about was the way the key was working, but I think I know why it was working that way. I think I had it set on the wrong iambic setting. So if I switch it over from B to A, I think I'll be good. I was able to change the speed of the CW very quickly. I was able to switch put the reverse on the paddle very quickly, and the volume there isn't one. So, but there's different ways in which you can move through the band, and you can do it in different increments. And so, I mean, it was pretty much everything I needed, and it performed really, really well. Obviously, because Sweden, right? We got some DX on the first go around, so it's pretty fun.
So. I haven't built mine yet either. I've been redoing my radio room here, but does it have filtering and stuff?
I don't think so,
Charlie. The way
I haven't seen any.
No,
but it was fine the way it is. I know.
Yeah.
CW filtering is like one of the more important things, right?
Yeah, it is. Well, I mean, that's a whole nother story. But I went 6 years without a filter.
Oh, okay.
Not knowing
Not knowing
The typical CW filter just narrows down your base
Right.
band, right? Your pass band.
Your passband, yeah.
So I mean, like, this thing's built for CW, so the pass band's already narrowed down to begin with.
Right.
So I guess the answer to your question is yes, it includes filtering, but de facto filtering.
But no, you can't adjust it.
That's
If
right.
this was a sideband radio, it would have been built. But since I don't really know CW, I've contacted Charlie and Adam both. But and I did get TO once.
Yeah, you and I
Kyle
made a
once,
contact
too,
on this radio.
but not very well. Oh yeah, you were
Yeah.
on that radio, huh?
Yeah,
I heard you.
Yeah.
I don't think you heard me though.
Oh, is that what it was?
I think so. Yeah, I was
okay.
coming back to you, and you were like, "Nope, don't hear you."
Okay. I know. Well, we were both on
200 hertz.
the video here, so I knew you were calling. But yeah, I need to learn CW. If I knew CW right now, it'd probably be built. It would have been more of a priority. I built 2 CW keys already, so I mean, or actually 3 now, 4.
Getting addicted.
Yeah.
The
I
filter
like
the filter
building
is
stuff.
200 hertz. Really?
That's pretty tight.
That's
That
really
is
tight.
tight.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
300, 3 to 6 is usually what you get. I mean, 3's
Right.
low, and yeah, so
I think my 3000's down to 3 is all it has.
Yeah, I would have never thought that.
I guess we should point out too, in case people don't know, but unless you watch Steve's videos, the features on it, there's actually a pretty interesting feature set that comes on the radio. It goes beyond that of like a mountain topper, right? It does decoding. It has cat control. It has what else does it have? It has an external PTT aside from the CW key for transmit. It's
Why
a
would it
very
have that?
that I mean, if you listen to some of the comments, that potentially you can modify it to do single sideband or FT8. So that's pretty interesting. Yeah, it's an interesting radio for sure. For a kit, I think that's exactly what you want, right? You want like, I just bought this thing, and then if I wanted to go down the rabbit hole a bit further, I could do a couple more things to it. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't tested any of that stuff like that. I was very interested in that. And real quick, going back to what Chuck was saying, I think that it is a CW only rig, and so that's kind of I mean, there's a lot of people I think that would love to build the thing, but then what do they do with it, right? So they have to learn Morse code.
So to that point, it actually does have a really good Morse code decoder in it. It will decode what you're sending, and you can use it as a practice tool to learn. And then it will also decode what you're receiving. And it does a fairly good job. I mean, my number 9 video in the series, I make a contact with K6ARK, and you can see what I'm trying to send him badly. And then you can see what he's sending back with all the patience that that wonderful saint of a man has. Yeah, I mean, it does the thing. And I actually like that because I can take it out and try and do that's next up for me is doing a CW POTO with it. And not feel intimidated that I'm going to miss something. I still struggle with numbers.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you brought that up because that was something that I really liked about it too. Not necessarily the decoding part of it, but the practice part of it. I mean, there's a lot of other radios that also allow you to practice on it, but I thought it was very convenient to be able to just go through the menu, click on practice real quick, and then I was able to try it out without having to blow the machine up. It was a nice feature too. Yep.
Yeah. And then this radio is based off of the same firmware that's in the regular QCX. So it's had a lot of development behind it. And it is on a programmable flash chip. And if you have a flash programmer or you just want to buy a replacement chip, it's actually user serviceable. It's not, the chip is socketed, not soldered to the board. So you can pull it out and reprogram it. And he's got a header on the board for programming it too, I believe.
Yeah,
that 3x2, that 3x2 header, I believe, is for that. I mean, it's what is it, $100 or 120?
This kit, this kit's $50, $55.
Okay,
55.
So consider. How did I get it to 100 then? I must have bought all that extra crap.
You bought everything. I remember whenever you said mine was like 120. I'm like, what did you buy?
I think I just said. I just clicked all the things and bought it. But I mean, for $50, you get all that capability, and you compare that to like a mountain topper. The only downside is you're gonna have to build it yourself, and you're limited to 1 band. But I guess you could build 3, right?
Yeah. I mean, you could easily buy all the bands and probably come out $50 or $100 more than a mountain topper and have all the bands, right?
I'm thinking of John Popper from Blues Traveler, where he had the bandolier of harmonicas. Well, now you just have a bandolier of QCX Minis, and you can just pull them out for whatever band you're going to do, and there you go.
I hope dude's not watching.
Yeah,
spray paint. Take the case and spray paint it.
Yeah.
Now, Charlie, did you? Yeah. Does it have a volume control, or did you have to buy something to modify the volume?
I did not find it. T.O. says it does, so I guess I didn't go through the menu far enough. The great thing about the menu, though, like T.O. pointed out, is it's the same as the regular QCX. That's right there.
The volume control. Yeah,
that's a hard one.
There's that knob.
They hide it. They hide it for.
That's what that knob's for.
It wasn't in the menu at all. It was just on the knob. No wonder.
Yeah, you were trying too hard. You're used to Yeezys or something, I guess.
Because the mountain topper doesn't have a volume control.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And I've had problems with that, and I've used.
It is meant for headphones, so it's not going to be loud because they don't want to blast your ears out.
Right. I wonder what I had mine set at, because I did have an external speaker on mine, and it was still everybody was able to hear it, but I wonder where the volume was set on it.
Oh, that alignment process that could blow you out.
I have had trouble. Yeah, I have had trouble with the mountain topper. It blasts you out, and it almost becomes distorted whenever it's 20 over.
Yeah.
So having a volume control quick is nice. Yeah.
What a novel feature in a radio, volume control.
You could probably put one in.
Yeah,
I'm
you
not-
could, I guess.
I'm not hand. I just bought something off Amazon that had the
Oh,
um.
I mean, all you need is a drill and a pot.
Well, it needs to have
That's
enough
it.
power coming
I have a
out.
drill and I have a pot. It's upstairs.
Yeah.
What kind of pot are we
that kind
talking
of
about?
pot. Not that
Terracotta?
kind of
You're
pot.
talking terracotta pot?
Yeah, and it's got a
Talk
shower
about
and
one
a
that
sink.
turns, okay? One that turns.
Corningware. Yeah.
What were you saying, Josh, about blowing it out or something?
The tuning process, the alignment. You're actually, I mean, when he specifically says don't necessarily start out using earbuds because you're peaking it, and you're trying to boost it as high as possible for the audio gain, and then you bring down the others, the tunable resistors in the alignment process.
Josh, you carry a powered speaker most of the time, don't you? That
Not-
round one. That little round one.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the one I got on the desk right now. That's what I use like when I'm in the shack. But if I'm ever doing an activation, I always use earbuds. It's the wind is too much. It's always better to have earbuds.
I agree. Unless you're filming if you're going live on YouTube, right? Then everybody has to hear, and that's kind of my case. But yeah, I would say, other than that, I always use earbuds. Yep.
Inline recorders too for all you
Yep.
soda folks that record to get an inline recorder.
Also do that, and I can hear better with the earbuds for sure. Yeah, I can make out. I get more QSOs.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Have you guys seen those the bone headsets that don't go in your ear?
What?
They're
I've heard
Bluetooth.
about them.
I've been playing around with it on my 705. So they go around your ears, so you can still hear everything, but the sound is like teleported into your head. And so I'm walking around like listening to the radio, and I can still hear everybody talking to me.
That sounds like something you would have got on one of those packages your wife bought for you.
No, this is legit. I got it at REI. They're legit. It's pretty cool.
REI?
Yeah,
Huh.
they're
Well,
like
you remember-
outdoor. You know,
You remember Jabber headsets from like the late 90s, right? That was what that was.
Man.
Are they
Yeah.
bone conduction?
yes,
Yeah.
bone conduction. That's it. They're pretty cool.
Huh.
It's little hammers.
Yeah, you
Is it
have to
gonna-
put these little pins into your bone.
That's right.
Is
That's
it
the
going to
hardest
improve my
part.
CW?
No,
No. But that's
But
really
you can-
on you.
you could be out on the trail because I never wear earbuds when I'm walking because I want to be able to hear rattlesnakes and all that stuff. But you can listen and still not have your ears plugged with those on. So that's really nice. It's a nice
Yeah.
feature.
They range. It looks like in price from about $80 all
Somebody's
the way
already
up
looked them
to 200. So yeah. All right, I'm gonna try those out, man.
They're pretty cool.
Another trip to REI, Charlie.
I'll just have them mail it. It is better to go to REI and shop, window shop,
It's
right?
dangerous. It's dangerous.
It's dangerous. They opened I'm very lucky that the REI that I'm close to, just 2 stores down, is an REI resale location where they sell off all the stuff that's been returned.
Oh, the outlet.
It's one of the hubs for
The
all the
garage.
stuff that gets returned.
Oh, it's not even
man.
a garage sale. It's different than a garage
it's
sale.
it's a storefront. It's an actual
Wow.
storefront. It's
Wow.
open all the time, and I can walk in there.
Wow.
I go there first and see if if I'm looking for anything, and then I'll go to the other store.
Hey, genius.
I don't suggest getting the used dehydrated food though. Not recommended. Don't do that.
Oh, there's a born on date.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Chuck missed it.
No, I got it. I actually one of the last times I went there, when we went on Mount Pacifico, I took a little flask, but Josh had this really nice flask that was like 3 times the size, and I ran out way too fast.
Oh, that was Matt's.
It's,
the
that was
plastic
your-
one, right?
Oh yeah, that was Matt's. You had it,
Well,
didn't you?
He gave it to me after. He
Oh,
was
okay.
like, "I'm not going to fly this back to Florida," so he just let me have it.
That's a pretty nice flask, actually.
Don wanted to say that Don is correct.
And we only had water in the flask.
That's right. It was a Pappy Van Winkle brand water that we had.
Water, yes.
Branded water.
Branded
You
water.
Californians.
No, Pappy. You know what Pappy is, right?
It's Tennessee or someplace, right?
It's Buffalo Trace, wherever Buffalo's from. So it's bourbon. So yeah.
So what do you think? Would you buy another one and build another one for another band? I know we touched on it a bit.
I have so many radios that I don't need another one, to be honest. But I think if someone was interested in kit building, this would be a fantastic kit, particularly if they wanted to learn CW, I think I agree with Charlie and the others that this is a functioning radio. It's not like a kit that's kind of like a toy. It's like an actual radio that has features in it that'll actually help you be a better operator, right? As you learn CW and go through it. I think it's at $50. You can buy two of them. Pick your two favorite bands. Go nuts.
Yeah. So like that Cricket you've got sitting there, that's a kit that's fun to build. It's a good introductory kit, but I wouldn't put that in a backpack and go do a soda activation. This thing I would take with me.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah, and I agree. So for me, I am definitely going to buy it because I like building kits. I'm going to buy the 60-meter band. And so it's the reason I'm going to do that is because with my mountain topper, I've got 20, 30, 40, and I always operate 60 as well. That'll give me an opportunity to actually downsize and get rid of that FD817 weight. Just I'll have a mountain topper and then the QCX Mini 60, and it'll be great for me.
You need a John Popper.
You need a bandolier radio.
Yeah, bandolier. Yeah,
that's right.
And the 3D printing community has gone wild with this thing already.
Oh, wow.
Which I think is pretty awesome. Abe's printing me one of these protective covers for the knobs because I just found out that I like to bend and break knobs on my portable gear. So I'm like, oh, we're going to fix this thing right away. I don't know what this part here is, but this looks pretty neat.
It looks like it might be a kickstand.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of propped up. Yeah, it's a stand.
Yeah.
Yep.
With foldable legs.
Ooh.
Fancy schmancy.
So sexy.
This may be the reason I haven't got anything done on mine too. Is the printer stuff. So
yeah, Chuck got himself a 3D printer, and I haven't heard from him for days.
I'm going crazy.
What printer did you get?
The Creality, the V2, the 3 Creality Ender 3.2.
Oh, Ender.
V2.
Okay,
That's
that makes
the newest
sense.
version.
You spend a little time with that, right? Getting used to that.
This is the micro SDX.
The guys they're dialing me in. In fact, I've got my adhesion so good now that I almost had to get a chisel out to get it off. So I don't know what I did today. It's crazy. I like watching it. Like, wow, I'm just amazed at what that little computer and that thing does.
Chuck, your next move on your 3D printer is to load Octoprint and then get a camera.
Ooh, yeah.
And then it takes a video and a picture every time it gets to a new layer, and then you can put a video together on all of your 3D prints.
Yeah, while you're out with your wife eating dinner, you can check in on your 3D print. You can cancel the print if it just started making spaghetti.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first thought. I'm like, why do I want a camera on my 3D printer? What? Oh, because sometimes it goes sideways.
Yep. So you don't spend 8 hours just extruding PLA.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so far my wife's like, you're not leaving the house while it's printing. Okay. I can't go with you and the kids, so I got to stay home.
Yeah, sorry, hon.
I just started to print.
You're going yard sailing again? Oh, shucks, I'm going to miss it.
It's another 6 hours. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree that it's more. I don't have a printer, so I just make stuff up to make myself sound cool. I always say I don't need another full-time job. That's why I don't have a printer.
Well, for me, it's just,
yes,
it's the next step for me on making stuff on antennas and stuff. So I've already built some pretty cool things.
I built my little caddy that goes on an 18-volt battery for the buck converter for USB and 12-volt out. I just designed it in Fusion Pro. Is that what I did it in? I think Fusion 360. Yeah. I was surprised. I was like, hey, I could actually do this. As a software guy, I'm not really a CAD type person, and I was able to get going with it pretty quickly.
So these go on. They hold the arrows. I've got a piece of aluminum that this part slides into, and then the arrows. I've just got them all stacked here, but like an arrow, and it fits nice and tight. I got a little set screw up there.
That's cool.
I wish
he's had this printer for like 3 days.
Yeah.
He designed that himself, printed it out, mastered all the adhesion stuff, the proper temperatures.
This is why we haven't heard from you in 4 days.
Yeah.
I wish that there was a basically nuts to bolts Fusion 360 class that you could take instead of just going. It's like my Photoshop skills. If I need to do something, I go and put in some general terms in YouTube and then watch a 10-minute video for 30 seconds of how to do it. I would pay, probably $300 or $400 for a really good Fusion 360 class, but they're all like, they're all corporate level $3,000 things. And I'm just like,
huge.
I can't do that.
It's like every time you edit anything for YouTube and you're like, how do I do this thing in my editor that I want to make the thing go from over here to over there on the video?
Exactly.
What do I do? Yeah, it's the same thing.
Well, it's like blurring stuff in Photoshop or in Premiere Pro. I forget how to blur stuff, and I have
You
to
do
go
it
watch a
once every
YouTube
6
video.
months.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a habit yet, right? So I
Yep.
got to watch a video every time I do it. And the same thing with Fusion 360. I design something like once every 3 or 4 months, and I'm like, how do I get this construction line to mirror over on the other side? And then I got to go through 30 minutes of construction line mirror, and it's not what I want. And I'm just like, oh, forget it.
I'm using, was it Cura?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm using right
that's
now.
a slicer, though, right?
Well, that's
Yeah.
the slicer. No, I'm using what is it? Doodle said he knows which one it was. But
But you're building the prints. You're actually making the model.
He's doing the designing. Yeah,
yeah, I'm
Woo,
designing it
buddy.
too.
Man, that's cool.
it's the free designer
It's-
thing.
It's a it's
Still?
a free one.
That's awesome.
Oh no, I wasn't
Oh,
discrediting
Tinkercad.
him. Tinkercad. I was trying to like
Tinkercad, that was
get him the name. Like I'm giving you everything I have because I don't have the name.
I know. Ape said Tinkercad. It's I guess the other one that Kyle's talking about is way more powerful. But so far, this has done good for me, and I've learned it pretty quick.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
used it a little bit too.
Fusion 360 is cool, but you have to go through the rigmarole of getting it's a student license, it's a like a creator license, and they bug you all the time. Like you have to upgrade, and then whenever you upgrade, they're like, "Oh, your license isn't good anymore. You should send in all of your information to get this piece of software, to export STLs unlocked," and you're like, all right, let me go through the thing again and
Here's
send
my
you all
social
my
security
information.
number.
Yeah, here's my social security number and my credit card number,
Virtual
but
box.
you're not going to charge it,
Just make a new virtual machine every time you go to use it. Start over.
Yeah.
I mean, Fusion 360 is awesome, but it's just the rigmarole.
Nagware.
Yeah.
I drew up a thing today, and it took me about 20 minutes, and to tell you the truth, it fit really good. So
You must know Tinkercad pretty good already then.
It was pretty simple. It was basically like a guy out thing for guy in the top.
yeah.
But what I was using it for was to hold a wire up with some bungee cord, like on the DX Commander type thing. But I made a specific one for a specific section, and I was surprised it came out the first time.
3D paint.
Yeah, 3D Paint. I saw that.
So Chuck
Pretty
moved
bright.
out to California in '49, ran the gold rush, got himself a nice plot of land, built himself a house, invented electricity. I mean, like the list goes on and on. The things that this guy can do kind of shocks me. Like Chuck put together some bags for Ham Radio Dude. So I already knew that he was a fantastic seamster. Is that what you call yourself there?
It's a
Because you're not a
seamstress.
seamstress.
No, he's
Stress is
Taylor.
female implied, right? A tailor, yeah. A tailor.
Yeah, Taylor.
But Chuck sent
More or
my
less.
girl
A
something
loomsman.
in the mail, and like he's like, I sent them a little something. You'll see it when you get it. And I'm like,
loomsman.
this comes from Chuck. The girls are like, what is it? It's soft. It's weird. They opened the bag. Oh wow! And I'm like, oh my god, Chuck! Like this is amazing quality craftsmanship. Like,
Little mini quilts.
yeah.
So, a question for you guys, since we're getting off QCX Mini, but that's fine. I wanted to ask about
Too much
question about
information.
I want to ask
Off
about
topic,
3D printing. No, it's on topic. 3D printing. So, I don't think I'm ever going to get a 3D printer. I just am not. So, you guys all have them for the most part, except for TO. So, I have a lot of friends with them. You guys don't mind doing stuff for us, right? In trade.
Yeah. Charlie's got a project that he needs help on.
I figured that one out.
I'm no good to him anymore.
No, you are. I actually figured that one out. I'm just in general, sometimes I'm like want something made and I never ask anybody because I just feel like, it's too much of an imposition, because it probably is.
3D printers are like classic cars. If you don't drive them, they return to nature. And it's a perishable skill set. So, like, if Chuck was to stop using his 3D printer today, it might take him a solid 3 days to get back to where he is today. So, like, definitely
right.
reach out to people. Can you use it? Because I asked Ape to print something for me. He hasn't printed something since last year's Hammies.
Yeah.
And his printer didn't work anymore.
Yeah, that is spot on.
It
where
is.
I will go through spurts, and I will print like 4 things on a Saturday, and then that thing won't get touched for 3 months.
Yep. Or my
Yeah, but-
wife will send me like a bunch of prints, and they'll just stack up. She's like, "Did you print that thing yet?" And I'm like, "Yeah,
Well, so
working on,
that's-
honey. I'm working on the alignment. I'm aligning the printed heads."
So that's something, though. I mean, if somebody does, want to reach out to somebody who has a 3D printer, I think it would. I mean, the lesson I learned with working with Kyle is it's probably good for you to at least try to make your own design or find your own design, go into Tinkercad and work with it a little bit. At least put forth the effort, and just instead of just going out and saying, "Hey, will you make this for me?"
At the very least, put your own call sign on it, like Chuck does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was only that one.
Yeah.
What was tough on this one? I have a piece of like extruded aluminum, and this bottom part, it actually slides into it and goes down and keeps it straight.
Can't see it, Chuck.
Oh,
Higher.
sorry. I could see it. See the bottom piece? It actually goes into the extrusion, and the side pieces keep it straight. And it took me 2 or 3 to get it to where I was happy it was tight enough. It's still not perfect, but the aluminum is not perfect either, because it's tight in some places and not in others. I can make it tight wherever I want it, but it was fun.
Don is spot on. Like they're like inkjet printers. They gum up after they sit for a while. Like I will level my bed, and then I will print something, and I'm like, why is this failing? I don't understand. I have leveled this bed like 5,000 times, and then I'll go in and do a bed level, and I'm just like, who made it unlevel? How did it get unlevel?
Who did it?
Who did it?
I've already changed my springs, and
Where's my dog?
Dude gave me an automatic thing where you just push a button and level it, and go push the button, load. It's all
they that?
computerized.
They're really that cantankerous, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and even the ones that auto level, it works.
I don't trust that.
But it doesn't work great. So keep that in mind.
No, Thump, I've got nylon lock nuts on mine. You should come over to the house and help me level. Come
He's
on over.
close by.
Level. Help
That's
me
funny
level.
because
I'm
I've
gonna-
already
I'm gonna-
looked in.
I'm gonna make me level.
I've
So
already
Thump
looked
is
into
an excellent designer, by the way. Thump's the guy that made the juice box and the juice spot, which is correct me if I'm wrong, Thump, but the juice spot holds a Raspberry Pi, a hotspot, and a battery all inside of a 3D case.
Ooh.
Wow.
All right, Thump. Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to you. Obviously, I'm doing something wrong.
And Thump's XYL just got her call, so congratulations.
Hey,
Mr.
congrats.
Thump.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
So which printer do you have, Kyle? I mean, you probably have an expensive one. Mine was cheap.
I
How much
have a
was yours, Chuck?
Prusa. Yeah, I have a Prusa MK3 that I
Like a
bought.
legit or not a clone?
No, legit.
Good for you. That's a good
Yeah.
printer.
So I put it together probably 3 years ago. It's an MK3 regular, not a MK3 Plus or an S or anything.
Yeah, that came out like last year, the year before.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. So I mean, I don't have a lot of problems. I mean, if I want to print something, sometimes it sticks. Most of the times it sticks. 90% of the times it sticks. I do have the oh crap, I just made spaghetti. But the problem is if I print stuff out towards the edges, like my level, I heat the bed up. I go through the Octopi Prusa leveling program. It says a quarter turn here, an eighth of a turn there, and I do it, and I will print, and that will be great. And and also my printer has different properties after it's been printing a while than whenever.
It's the heat. It's the heat, man.
So if I preheat, yeah, there you go.
That's
yes.
me.
Yes.
If I preheat that bed and I preheat it for probably 30 to 45 minutes, I have no issues whatsoever. But if I go and put a printout and it heats up and then starts its leveling process, it's do and prints, I have to watch it to make sure that the first couple of layers actually stick. And once I get done with the first couple layers, and they're good, it's good.
Yep.
Right.
That's it. Yep. That's it. Indeed. I have a Creator Pro. I don't have any of the Enders. Mine is an enclosed box with a door, which is nice for some things, but I agree that if I get a couple of layers out of it, I'm generally fine.
So we have a room in the Toads Discord for 3D printing, and basically we all just go into the room and hold hands and sing Kumbaya and tell each other it's going to be okay.
Yeah. I mean, the stuff that you can design and produce in your house now is amazing. I mean, this technology that came about, it blows my mind that I can go to my laptop in 30 minutes, design something, and then have it literally, in my hand with through a 3D printer. It blows my mind. But there are some gotchas, and it's not for everyone. And it takes time to learn, and it's it's great, but don't think that you're going to take a 3D printer out of the box and
Nope.
you're just going to like, oh, it's 2:00 on a Saturday. I'll be printing everything until at 4 p.m. Nope.
It's like not an Instant Pot. You're not making a pot roast. It's not a set it and forget it. You're
Right.
it's a new hobby. It really is. It's its own hobby. It is definitely its own hobby.
This is why I'm not getting one.
I totally forgot I had a brisket to put on the grill this morning. Work just got away from me. Ugh. I guess we'll do it tomorrow.
Oh man.
Yeah. So QCX Mini and 3D printing.
Is anything left unsaid about the QCX Mini?
We'll just have to do it again.
Oh, the tuning process is very easy. I'm sure Steve also made a video on that. He's made a ton of videos. Go check them out. The tuning process, most tuning processes, you generally have to have another receiver or some kind of frequency generator or something like that. This is all internal, which is crazy cool. Again, $50 to do that is wild.
Yeah, that sounds like a fun build.
Yeah, and I just used one of my old MFJ tuners here with the power meter on it to do the tune for maximum smoke part. That was the last little bit where you adjust the. So you have the main toroid, the T1, and then you've got 3 inductors. And he just says, wrap them nice and tight, and then we'll adjust them later on in the build. And you do, and you just go in and you spread the windings out, or you tighten them up, and you watch the meter as you key down into a dummy load or whatever. And
Those are CB days right there.
So what do you? I haven't gotten to that point yet. So what do? You have it powered on, and do you just take the face off of it?
Yeah, so you get the whole thing set up and ready to roll, and then you pull the controls board off and you pull the display board off, and you're left with the bare board so you can see the toroids, and it's on the band that you left it on, and it's in the mode and the volume settings, and you can't change any of the settings anymore. Right. But you just reach in there with something non-conductive and move those wraps around, and like I said, you key down, you see there you're at 5 watts output, whatever the meter happens to read, which isn't accurate, but I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for it's here, and then it moves, and then it stops moving, and then I stop trying to get it to move anymore. And so, I went from one. When I first built it, I was trying to see if anybody was picking me up on the reverse beacon network, and nobody could hear me. I could hear myself across the yard from the dummy load to the DX Commander, but I couldn't get out any farther than that when I swapped the directions. I put the DX Commander onto the QCX Mini. And then I did that power alignment and got on the reverse beacon network right away. And then Adam heard my call and called me back. I was like, first contact, K6ARK.
Wow,
That's cool. Any better than that.
I just give up right there.
Wait a minute.
I'm done.
Your first contact was Adam, and it was just out of the blue?
Yeah.
Random Adam contact.
Yeah, so I mean ham alert or whatever.
What?
I think I was like, hey, I'm tuning this thing up. Oh, look, I'm getting on the RBN. And then Adam was paying attention.
Oh, I see. Okay. It's like he was just tuning around, and it's like, hey, that's Steve.
Well, it sounds like Steve.
That sounds like Steve.
Yeah,
I CW with a stutter.
That's a mind-blowing event, right? Oh, I just came across Steve with his QCX Mini.
Yeah. It was fantastic. Well, gentlemen, thank you for joining the stream tonight. I wanted to get some other people's thoughts on the kit. I know we'd all talked about building this thing as a group, but it's a 4-hour build, and it's for a stream there would be value in hanging out together to do that. But 4 hours is a big time commitment. So
it lit the fire under my butt to build the damn thing. So
yeah, I think I mentioned this like Monday. Hey, let's get together and talk about this. And Josh was like, "Do we have to have it built?"
I couldn't show up with it not built, so I had to hustle to build. And it okay. So I don't think I cut any corners because it is actually that straightforward. If you focus on that transformer, it really is. The puzzly parts make sense once you read the instructions. It really does. I promise.
And he's really good about it. I mean, like it doesn't fit together mine didn't fit together when it first did. It didn't fit together when I first tried to put it together, and I literally got out my file and started filing the PCB down in order to get it to fit together. And he tells you to do it, so it wasn't unexpected, but it worked,
Mike N8YO, I think Adam built it in 4 or 5 hours. I built it in 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah,
how long did it take you, Steve? And we were recording video, Mike, but mine's kind of not working perfectly. I don't know exactly what's going on. I have a feeling that there might be something that's not
version 1.
I have a version 1. So for everybody that's watching this, you might get an updated version that's maybe a little bit more consistent. I don't know.
Yeah, they're getting a little bit better every time. But don't let that scare you into not buying one, waiting 10 years for it to become the best, because he'll make another smaller version than this.
Yeah,
he's trying to chase Adam with features into smaller sizes.
That's the kit that I'm waiting for. Adam has a kit that he's working on,
so
and, I am super interested in that.
So I was telling Adam, I might send you a CW. I found this really cool CW key thing. He goes, see if you can make it smaller. I'm like, I don't think it works that way, because if I make it smaller, nothing's going to fit. It's already
Adam's
pretty
on the
small. Yeah. Adam's on the air.
I built it in 2 hours, but it doesn't work.
Oh, what's the case cost? How much does the case cost? I forgot.
The case?
It comes with it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it comes with part of the kit.
It comes with it?
Yeah, you didn't get it?
Well,
come on, guys, $50. Literally, I had to think about that. I didn't realize that the case came with it.
No, the case
if you buy
extra. The case is extra.
The regular QCX,
I thought the case was $20.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Hold on.
The case was extra.
Perhaps if we had some way.
Regardless, for $70 to get the case and a tiny radio like that. I mean, think about the Micro BitX, which this reminded me like the most kind of like a Micro BitX or maybe the QCX normal size. It's a lot of radio for what you get, really.
All right, let's pick 20 meters.
Yeah, the QCX.
Please
Mini,
acknowledge. Please acknowledge.
aluminum enclosure,
right
$20.
There you go, $20. And it's a
Right.
cool case. It's a cool case.
I got
really
the
cool
amplifier for $29.50 to give it 50 watts output. And I got the enclosure for that. I did not get the GPS receiver. I did not get the dummy load. I did get the TCXO because it was $8. Like, why
Right.
not? I already had a dummy load. That's why I didn't get that. I mean, you guys have seen my bacon grease dummy load.
Hey, so how big is the 50 watt?
It
PA?
is the same. It's the same 2 dimensions as the QCX itself, but it's longer, and it has a heatsink.
And it's an amp?
It's an amp. Yeah, 50 watts.
I feel like I paid for that, but I didn't get it.
I think you did too.
I've got to contact him. He told me, he's like, we're not ready to ship the amps, and I said that's fine.
There it is.
Oh, there it is. That's fine. Ship it to me when you're ready. And I don't think I got it, so now I got to contact him.
So this dimension right here, where these 2 lights are, this is the exact same profile as the QCX Mini itself, and then this is like 2 QCX Minis side by side.
That's pretty slick for, what was it, $50? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's like $30 plus $16 for the case.
I don't know. It's kind of superfluous for a QRPer.
But that's per band, right? Like that's not
No.
just a 50 watt amp for 160 through 6
well,
meters.
it's a CW amp though. It's just CW.
CW only.
right, but I mean,
So what does that make it, a class B?
But
class C?
But you can use that on any HF band. What?
Let's go with yes.
What?
Yeah.
I looked
What?
up and I can't remember. I
What?
did look into it.
What?
I don't know why you would send it separate. I mean, yeah, it's got to be for all of them, doesn't it?
I haven't built this one yet. It's coming up.
I keep clicking on it, but
Oh, more toroids. Oh, but there's only like a couple windings on each one. That's not a big. That's an easy kit to build. That's. Oh wait, never mind. I saw the binocular toroid there.
Those are easy.
Yeah.
I built a lot of those.
Okay, so it can be built for any single band of 80,
here
40,
we
30,
go.
or 20
There
using
you
the
go.
supplied components. So it's a single band amp.
Yeah.
It's the coils.
Yeah.
It's the it's all of the coils.
It's the coils.
The
Look at
coils.
Steve. Every time, just go into the manual. Like, who does that?
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna
Ben,
go
new
with
member.
5 coils.
Awesome.
Should we
Welcome
ask
to
for
the channel, Ben.
instructions or directions? Nah, let's just wing it.
Come on, I'm an extra class ham. I have circuit boards like this that just come off of my laser printer.
Mhm.
Off your 3D printer?
No,
I've
my
already
laser
written
printer.
those on mine. I've got that board almost ready.
No,
The
no,
traces
I'm not
are
an
the hard
extra
part.
class 3D printer operator. I'm an extra class ham radio operator. 50 watt CW is going to get you heard. That's absolutely correct.
You
Yeah.
can get those regulated, the upgraded regulators for like 20 of them for $6.
I mean, that's kind of a wild concept, though. If you're talking about like what $130 all in with shipping for a monoband radio and an amp to get you 50 watts, the only barrier to entry is learning Morse code. But you will make contacts. Guaranteed, you will make contacts at 100.
But it's got a
120,
decoder
130
built
bucks.
in, and the decoder works.
Yeah.
So, like, get rid of all that fright. Go work a POTA contact where the exchange is known, and you're not going to get into a rag chew, and you'll be all right.
Yeah. Agreed.
I guarantee you, if you are on the cusp of learning CW and you're afraid to get on the air, getting over that hurdle and doing a POTA activation, you're going to gain so much experience in that 30 minutes on running QSOs back and forth. It's like probably spending six months doing it over the computer.
Yeah, I explain to people all the time, when you're learning Morse code, it's like it goes like this, and when you get on the air, it goes like this.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. Whenever I got on the air, my learning went through the roof, just like that. And I was so afraid to get on the air for a long time because of my instant character recognition wasn't there. But as soon as I got on the air and my nerves, settled down after about 20 minutes, it was like, I should have done this 6 months ago.
See, I had big trouble with the number 2 and the number 3 because to me, the did it da da da, you hear that da 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 hard in your head, and I can't not hear that 3. And then I get on the air and everybody's doing 73, 73. I'm like, okay, now I can't miss the 3 because it's just, the 3 gets sent at least 3 times every QSO.
Yeah.
Two for sure in the 73 SK at the end of the transmission, but you'll get it in somebody's call sign, you'll get it in some weather report. Does it? Yep.
There are definite phases of learning CW. There's the phase of I count characters. There's the phase of I'm getting it. I feel comfortable. Then there's the phase of instant character recognition, and then there's the phase of the rhythm.
And then there's the phase of I speak to my family in Morse code.
Right, exactly. That is. But once you get to, and you almost know when you get to, you get over a certain phase, because the things that were hard a month ago are not hard anymore.
Right.
I'll throw it out there. I mean, if anybody's really interested in it, the Long Island CW Club is still, I think, one of the best ways to go about learning Morse code, and they have classes. I mean, what do they have? Like 30 classes a week.
It's
kind
insane.
of crazy. Yeah,
It's insane.
and it's like $30 a year to join the club, and there's nonstop classes. You can pretty much go anytime you want, and they have recordings of classes and recorded MP3s that you can listen to of going through the alphabet. So there's like literally no reason not to explore this space, because it's
fun.
Yeah, it's super fun.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the main ways in which people could learn.
One of the other things that you'll get after you start getting pretty good with the code is you'll learn that most of the things that make noise in this world do it in Morse code. You walk through a hospital and the alarms that are going off are actually Morse code alarms.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody knows it, but they are.
One of the things that I've noticed as I've progressed is just learning call signs and what's coming next. And this is going to sound dumb, but whenever you're learning CW or whenever you're speaking English, you don't think about it. But whenever you're learning CW, like whenever you hear a K and a B, all right, so you've decoded the K and the B, you know a number is coming next, right? So you can get ready in your mind to decode that number, right? And it's just the little things like that where if you are copying somebody from, let's say, a V, probably there's going to be a K or an E or an A coming after the V, right? So you get in rhythm to what's coming next on call signs, and it's almost like you are anticipating, okay, I heard a V, now what is it going to be? An A, an E, a K? What's the next letter? And you get, it's more in tune. I've learned more about call signs while learning CW than I think I have whenever I was just a regular, not a regular ham, but like just doing single sideband contests. It's amazing how like you are more in depth with what is coming next for the next letter or the next number for a call sign.
The Morse Reno is great to see the comment that showed up, but I mean, we were just talking about the QCX Mini. He's selling a very inexpensive dummy load. There's no reason why you couldn't just connect the dummy load to the radio and then use the decode capability turned on, and you will see what you're transmitting out. Now, the Morse Reno has that playback capability where they'll give you Morse code and then you key it back to it and it responds. But that's like also $130 for the Morse Reno.
Do you need it? I don't think you need a dummy load. It comes with a practice mode, the QCX Mini. I used it.
Oh, geez, see, yes. I didn't even know about the practice mode.
Yeah. So the other thing I would suggest is you leave a Morse code radio on in your workshop or something while you're contest weekends are fantastic because you hear test over and over and over again to the point where you know that that's test without having to decode it. That's just the sound that word makes when it's sent. Like Submarine Radio Man was saying, you start to get word recognition, and
that's short for contest. FYI.
Yeah, do it. During the week, you'll hear people doing rag chews. You want to go crazy with Morse code. Wednesday mornings is the CW Ops Sprint, the CWT that they have. That's the bands are just lit up. If you've got a waterfall display on your radio, it's wall to wall CW for like 5 or 6 hours, and it's high speed stuff.
But the problem,
please copy a lot, also, right?
Yeah, right. PS, PC, PC.
PC.
So if you're starting out, I don't know if CWTs are the best.
No.
There is a slow speed contest on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Central that the maximum is 20 words a minute. And that is your contest to start out in.
There's also the Stray Key Society too, right? The events they have. The Stray Key Society stuff is, I mean, for those of you guys who are starting out with paddles, sure, paddle it, but you could still listen to it, and you get a lot of experience just going through that whole process.
Now, I have to mention Morse Code Ninja too. I mean,
good point.
The amount of resources available from him for free is just astronomical. All kinds of audio files that you can listen to, all the way from 10 words a minute to I think 50 or so or more. So,
I use Morse Code Ninja. I will put that in my car, and I'll be driving to a meeting or a walkthrough or whatnot, and it's great because they, and you can pick what you want to hear at 20 words or 22 words or 25 words, and there's a fly in here, sorry, and it'll give
thought you were just putting emphasis.
Yeah, it's just like a gnat. It's one of Charlie's gnats from this morning came over and
that's crazy.
And the Morse Code Ninja, you can play that in the background, and it'll tell you, it'll give you the code, and then it gives you 2 seconds to figure out what it is, and then it will tell you what it is, and then replay it. So it's a great learning tool on just putting it in the background, if you're doing stuff around the house.
Yeah, I listen to it online when I listen to it when I go on my walks.
Yeah.
Oh, so Nice. Okay, that's a good idea. I should start doing that. I need to start listening more.
Load it
Good-
in my
good point.
phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Josh, just play the YouTube videos.
Yeah, exactly. I
Right.
love it. Okay.
I will say that the ARRL does do recordings, broadcasts from QST magazine, and I personally didn't like them. I mean, it's good, but my feelings on that was like they actually send out all of the punctuation, and it's written word, not conversation. So it's good for practicing CW decoding in your head, but it's not the same as making an on-air QSO. And the comments drove me crazy.
Yeah.
Somebody asked,
it's
what's an inexpensive key that you guys recommend?
CW Morse.
CW Morse. I have the American Morse equipment, the lightweight one, the small one with the little arms on it. That's a little more expensive, though, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
3D printed key.
Yeah, I think the CW Morse is
Chuck's got like 6 of them already.
like $55
one right
I
now.
think.
No, that's
Oh,
No, it's 35.
It's-
35.
Oh,
The CW
pro
more,
tip. The 3D printer plus printing your own CW key is cheaper than buying most CW keys.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I will show off my unobtainium key because can anybody catch my unobtainium key?
Oh, yeah, I know which one it is. You pissed me off with that
I've
one.
got like 6 keys that are like made
I'm like,
for.
oh man,
soda.
I'm buying one of those, and then he's like, oh,
Where's
by
that
the
at?
way,
The Palm
That one.
Pico paddle.
That's the
Yeah.
one that slides in.
It slides in, and the company went out of business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have that
And it's
all
got magnets. It's got magnets.
here.
can you send that to me? I'll have it.
You want
I'll
to
have
borrow
drawn
it
up.
for a little while? Yeah.
I'll have it drawn up in a couple of days.
So there's a guy that Charlie interviewed, and he's gonna make a Palm Pico paddle kind of knockoff. Charlie, what?
That's the
You
radio adventure gear.
Yeah.
Pulling it out right now.
Yeah.
That's this one right here.
It's a fantastic design. Yeah, because there's a Pico paddle, and then there's there's a Palm paddle, which is the larger, that size, and then there's a Pico paddle, which is even
So
smaller.
this is not the Pico paddle. This is radio adventure gear.
But that's a nice size.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Then I also have the Pico as well, and I have this one, which is the it's called the Teeny Key.
Teeny Pico.
Ooh, yeah. That's a Soda Goat uses that occasionally.
Yeah, and then I also you can't buy this one or get this one anymore, but it's a NOSA, I think it is, right, Kyle?
Yeah.
Kyle-
N0SA.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I've got one of those too.
That's nice.
He lives in St. Louis, about 5 miles from me, and I'm like,
These things are artwork, basically.
yeah. And I looked him up on QRZ. I'm like, hey, can I come down and get a key? And he's like, no, COVID. You can't come down here. I'll send it to you. So I
Here's my shack key.
oh yeah.
Hey, that's a cool one.
The what is it? Is it going to show it? Oh, it's not going to show it. It's the
Here's-
EPCC.
Here's
Oh,
my
the
shack
Bengali.
key, the
Bengali
Bengali Traveler.
Oh yeah,
Bengali.
that's the beginner key you want. You want a
Yeah.
Bengali.
That's like a
Buy
mortgage
two of my
payment.
printers for that
You have a
thing.
Bengali? Who has a Bengali? Nobody, right?
Kyle.
does.
Kyle does.
Kyle.
What? Nice.
I bought it
Ham-
at Dayton a couple years ago.
Ham radio
have
dude
this
sent
one.
me
Oh
this
yeah, that was 19. I saw
Yeah.
that key. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's. I love that they call that the portable, and it's probably almost the same size
It's-
as most of the QRP radios
it's
that you would take in the
huge.
field.
It's as big as my head.
It's
so
portable
big.
because it protects the paddles by folding
Right.
those things down. And
So-
it's meant to be strapped onto your leg. And, you know,
So, Don, everybody loves Bengali keys. There's nobody that does
Oh, I
not love
love 'em.
Bengali keys. The question was,
Big
though,
fan.
a good beginner paddle. I don't know that I would say Bengali is the beginner
No,
paddle.
probably not.
yeah.
No.
So for field day, we had to
Check
cancel
this
it.
one out.
There you go.
Oh,
That's
so
like the
free-
same kind of. Yeah, that's cool.
This one has
You
a
guys-
micro switch in it.
You guys missed Ham Radio Dude CW key challenge. This is
I
my
know.
this is my CW key.
That was cool. I did watch that video. That was cool.
Yeah, that was fun. For field day, we had to cancel it and
$4.
go to Brian's house. And we Brian, my friend's house, we went and did field day there, and he had a key that we were using. It was $200 on eBay, and it's magnetic contacts, and it was like amazing. It's just a Chinese made one, but the equivalent in non-Chinese is probably $400 or $500 for the thing. So that was
That's
a good
what-
one.
That's what this one is. It's magnetic, and it's
Yeah. They're
they like
amazing.
float. They
So
float.
is this one.
They're
Yeah.
like real floaty. And this is a Kickstarter that
Huh.
it's It's crazy how awesome this key is.
Yeah, the magnetic ones are the N0 SA magnetic ones. The what is that one, Charlie, that we've got? What is it called? I forgot what it's called. But anyway, it's magnetic.
Which one?
The N0 SA key that we've got. It's
Okay.
magnetic.
Oh, that's a cool key.
And
That's
it's
cool
just,
looking.
yeah,
Yes.
the magnetic ones are just so smooth.
You're talking about this one here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a. I think it was like a. I don't remember the name of it.
Yeah, I don't either. It's so tiny.
It is tiny.
I got all these keys and I can't do CW.
Don says he wants a vintage Railroad Depot straight key. To take that up another level, Lionel used to make those. So if you can find one that's made by Lionel, it's like double down on the hot railroad action.
Oh, I found that key. It's the Spirit key. I was saying the wrong name. It was the Spirit key that was on Kickstarter. I
Cool.
believe they have a website now for it, but
And
it
it's
funded in
magnetic.
2 days. Yeah, and it was relatively inexpensive. It's literally just a hogged out a piece of aluminum, but it's really nicely done. Oh, it's $200. So okay, about the same. I think made in America though versus whatever you got on eBay. I don't know where it's coming from.
I would say if you're going for a starter key, you probably are going to pay around $100 and up from there, unless you're really going cheap with the MFJ ones, which I really wouldn't recommend. But if you got to start somewhere and you're really cheap, then you can pay $30, $35 for an MFJ travel key.
I think this one was 150. It's a junior.
I'd argue that I know a lot of people mention starting out with straight keys, and I think you could probably that Hamfest are starting to come back online and stuff like that, and people are starting to. You could probably find yourself like an old school speed key, straight key, something like that.
Yeah.
Just
Inexpensive, $30 maybe you'd spend, and that
Yeah.
will last you better than any under $100 mark key in the retail space. I would argue.
Yeah.
I
think agree with that.
guarantee you, if you had a local club and you got on their mailing list or their Facebook page and said, I want a straight key, I want to buy a straight key, and I'm wanting to learn CW. I
wake up in the morning and there's a box of 18 in your front yard.
Right. They're probably going to throw them at you.
That's actually happened to me when I was first starting out. I accumulated 3 or 4 keys, and I'm like, I don't need that many. But yeah, same thing happened to me exactly.
Thoughts on the KX2 key?
The one that screws in.
Is that the same one that's on the KX1? Is it the same
No.
key on the KX1?
No, the KXPD1 for the KX1 is different because I'm looking for that because I need to complete my set.
Kyle.
I do too.
Summer.
I need that key.
And I got to buy the whole radio and then sell the radio separately. I'd probably make $100 in the process, but
Probably. Yeah, I have a KX1 and I want to find the key. Oh, that's right. No, because it's the one that is on an angle. It's like a 45-degree angle off the
it screws
flat.
it screws into the bottom of the rig
Yeah.
right here, and then it comes out at a weird sideways angle.
Mhm.
And then the one for the KX2 and the KX3 is different.
But Golly makes a key that is reminiscent of the KX2 key. It's a little tiny thing. Is it? What do they call that? I don't remember what they call it. But they're now selling a kickstand type thing for the 705, where you could mount the key if you had it, but you don't need to have it, and it's actually a nice little stand for the 705.
Roger. Yeah, I'm a no.
For the longest time, I thought that the key that works on the KX2, KX3 was like a mounting clamp device. I didn't think it was a CW key.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. Well, I mean, that's a whole nother hour. The differences between all those QRP radios. We kind of already talked about the KX2 and the KX3.
A little bit. All right. Awkward silence means it's time for us to say goodnight to everybody.
All right.
So good night.
No,
Good
Kyle
night.
wants to keep going. Kyle wants to keep going.
No.
No, he's talking about the key, the KX3.
Oh my
KX2
gosh,
key.
this fly! It's like there's a huge basement down here that this fly could go in, and it just.
Like
You know what's good? You know what's fun on stream is a bug assault. Have you picked up a bug assault yet, Kyle?
Oh, the salt.
Oh,
gun.
The salt gun?
gun? Yeah,
Like a pump action shotgun for salt. Those are fun
But
on
that-
stream.
But doesn't that put salt everywhere?
Yeah, that's good to keep demons away.
Yeah, of course. I was already doing it anyway. All right, folks, this has been a fantastic conversation, and I appreciate all of these guests. There are links to all of their channels in the description down below, as well as the Toads Discord, where we talk about crazy shenanigans like this all the time. And get a kit. These are cheap, and they're fun, and they're easy enough to do. And if you need help, all of these guys are available. And if they're not, reach out to me. We'll make it happen. Thanks for being awesome.
73.
Later.
73.
Please copy.